Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I'm joined by the beautiful K.Bly. Kay, how you doing today?
Doing all right, doing all right. How are you doing? Did anybody ask you today how you doing?
I'm doing a lot better now. Uh, I have been looking forward to this all day, so I'm super excited to
Okay.
have you here. But before we talk about why you're here, Kay, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. You were born in Washington, but spent most of your life in Georgia. You
Mm-hmm.
graduated from Savannah State University in '09 and Capella University in 2022. And that's congratulations. It's hard enough to get one degree, let alone going back and doing another one.
And
So
my crazy tail self in school again for a
you're
third
like,
degree.
oh, take a break. But I mean, you also in between that you did you started writing comic books in 2014, expanded into writing scripts and hosting a podcast from your company, The Fifth Wall. Now I want everybody to know before we even get started, I do have all of Kay's social media links down in the description. So make sure you're following her, make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube, subscribing to the podcast. That way you can stay up to date on all the amazing things that she has coming up for us. So
Hmm.
we've talked about this a lot, but you're going to school right now. You've already graduated from two different universities, getting two different degrees. Holy crap! I've never graduating like seventh grade, like twice. Um, but like, what gave you the desire to want to start doing the fifth wall on top of everything else?
Being a nerd.
You're like, I got two degrees, and I still got plenty of free time. Let's just add more to the plate.
Being a nerd, actually doing started like some years ago, and the team just kept getting smaller and smaller because time commitment, people get jobs and have kids and get married. Although I do all of that too, when my commitment stayed with the nerddom. And so I'm like, so long, more luck to you, power to you in the future. But I'm still gonna be this nerdy person. I'm still gonna read my comic books. I'm still gonna watch my superhero movies, and of course, I'm still going to be a complete Halloween fanatic all year round.
And your favorite holiday is Halloween, you know.
Absolutely.
And like you
And
said,
my
on top of
birthday is the day after.
damn,
Yes.
get two holidays right in a row.
Yes.
So, and you talked about a little bit that you're a wife, a mother, a therapist. I mean, do you ever just lay on the couch and talk to yourself with all this stuff that you're doing? Like,
I probably should. My husband tells me that I don't rest enough. That so
yeah,
I probably should. If I'm on the couch, I'm probably doing something besides just laying there. Although I should probably go and lay down and take a nap. Chances are I got up my iPad, my phone, my laptop, a book. I'm doing something.
right. See, and I admire that because if I'm on the couch, I am dad and I'm sleeping because I'm lazy. So that's what we do best is sleep. But if you change the channel, we were just resting our eyes. What the hell are you doing? Um, so, learning all these things about you, like I said, all the amazing things you've done. You're working as a therapist. You're a lifelong horror fan, a lifelong nerd. Self-proclaimed nerd. I happen to think you're the bee's knees, but in order to do these things that are all horror related, horror had to start for you somewhere, Kay. So now I would like to go back to the past and talk about what got you started in the horror genre, your first horror movie. And Kay, the first horror movie you watched was
The first one that I watched, I remember watching from start to finish had to be Child's Play.
Hell Yes.
And
Greatest horror franchise on the
I
planet.
love Don Mancini to have me in the chokehold my whole life. He ain't let me go yet. And what's funny is my brother had one of those My Buddy dolls.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I know that I had to be watching Child's Play because it's gonna sound like a bad sister doing this. Okay, so my brother is the only boy.
okay.
And there's four of us, three older sisters. And so we used to chase him around the house with this My Buddy doll and pretend it was Chucky.
You assholes. And that's part of being a big brother, big sister is you got to torment the younger one to toughen them up. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you gotta do what
I'm
you gotta do.
this hurts me more than it hurts you. I promise. Um, so and just so we can make double sure, we're talking about Child's Play 1988, the OG film, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And we know that you were quite young watching this. Do you remember about how old you were?
Ooh. You know, it's weird growing up in the 90s because apparently parents just really didn't care what you watched. So and my mom is a big horror fan. My mom is, my older sister is, and so I don't remember life without horror and Halloween stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
So it was just always there. So if my mom is watching, whatever, if she's watching Chucky, if she's watching Jason, if she's watching Freddy, I'm right there. And apparently they just didn't care about us and our mental health. So I was watching Chucky. I remember watching horror. I had to be kindergarten, first grade-ish.
Yeah. And to me, and again, I'm no therapist. I have no degree in psychology whatsoever. But something that I've said for a long time is I feel like kids are more grounded in reality if they watch horror at a young age and they get the education to go along with it. As long as you have somebody there as a positive influence saying, this isn't real, you don't do these type of things to people, this is for entertainment. I feel like as long as you have that guiding light to be there as an educator, that horror it really can help to ground people in reality. They learn the difference between fantasy and reality. And you're a very young, very impressionable age watching a terrifying movie for the first time, especially like you said, when you got Cabbage Patch Kids and My Buddy Dolls, and we all got our toys when we were kids. But do you remember what the scene was that affected you the most?
I guess it was that something so simple as a toy could cause all of this hectic. And Chucky was funny, actually. It was like you felt for Andy because as a kid, like nobody believed him. Nobody's gonna believe you as a child if you tell them that your toy is coming to life. But it's completely terrifying because as soon as you close the door, that doll is gonna turn on you.
Right.
And say some pretty crazy stuff in the meantime.
Ugly doll. Fuck you.
While he's doing it. So he was also pretty, and that's probably a reason why I like Freddy as well. Because although very terrifying, they throw out some good one-liners that you can't miss. And
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
it breaks you out of that. I was a little terrified, but now he said something and I'm laughing. I think I enjoyed that element too, as sometimes those one-liners that made you laugh, the kills that like made no sense. Sometimes I think the most hilarious kill scene to this day for me was when I don't remember what Friday the 13th movie it was, but Jason was chasing this lady. She ran in a sleeping bag, zipped herself up in a sleeping bag. I don't know how you thought that was getting away. I don't know how you thought that was getting away. Why would you run, zipped herself up in a sleeping bag, and he picked her up and banged her against the tree in the sleeping bag? I don't know what it was. That's okay. I don't know what it was about that movie, but it cracked me up. I don't know. Maybe I had a dark sense of humor as a child, but it was something about that scene that was like, even me as a child was like, that was so stupid. And at that point, you deserve to die for my entertainment.
And at that point too, you're also I can't see you if you can't see me. Like and the best part about that is when he hits the sleeping bag against the tree, it's just like a thwack and it's done. Like just one solid thwack, and she's ugh. So like you gotta love that moment. So
Right.
and Child's Play, like I said, this is a movie that is so important to horror, but not just horror, but pop culture, because as we all know, we've all seen it. People that aren't really into horror, sometimes they'll confuse who Jason and Michael Myers are. We've seen interviewers asking Jamie Lee Curtis, do you ever get scared when that hockey mask is around still? And she's like, fuck you talking about? Like, I've never been in the movie with a hockey mask. Chucky is probably one of the most recognizable horror icons. I would say Chucky and Freddy would be right up there for the most recognizable for people that aren't even horror fans. They recognize Chucky, they recognize Freddy because of the sweater, the burnt face. So I feel like that's why Chucky is so influential and so important. So we talked about which scene affected you the most, Kay. But what would you say your favorite scene from Child's Play was?
Oh, so many. I definitely like the scene where he ran up on the guy that taught him how to do voodoo, and he found his voodoo doll. And I don't know why that scene stuck out to me, because I guess I that was the first time I ever heard about what a voodoo doll was.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, for real. This is what we're doing. Like, he was like, so, and like that's a scene where we got like a lot of dialogue from him at one time. So we really got to see this little doll standing there, completely terrifying this guy who was someone who helped him in his human life.
And you shouldn't tell your customers where you put these things, John. One of my favorite kills in the franchise to this day, you know, when he's breaking the voodoo doll and John, like that shit wrecked me as a kid. Like,
yes, it called him a straight up abomination. Well, sorry,
yeah,
you taught him the voodoo, so I mean,
you are an abomination, Chucky. Like, I love that shit. Like,
yes.
that's my shit. So Chucky is a part of a much, much bigger franchise now. You know, it started with Child's Play. It's still going. The TV show,
Still
unfortunately,
going.
did just get canceled.
It did?
It did, but Don Mancini is working on a new film. So they are going to have at least some closure to their story through a final film.
Okay, because it
If
ended
the
like on a
rumors are correct.
cliffhanger.
Now,
Yeah.
again, these are all rumors at this point, but we even have had Devin Sawa tweet out a tweet about it and then immediately delete it right afterwards. So, word on the street is the TV show has been canceled, unfortunately, but they are going to finish the story with one final theatrical film because Brad Dourif is like, I'm retired from acting, except Chucky. I will still do that because that's my baby. So, in this franchise that is still, like I said, so big, what would you say your favorite film from the Chucky franchise is?
A lot of people are probably not going to like this or agree with this, but I honestly like the third movie. I don't know why. I guess the older I get, the more I find out that people hate a lot of the horror movies that I hate, that I really love. That I didn't know that people actually did not like. But I like Child's Play 3. I like the fact that we saw that Andy never fully healed from what happened. We got to see that he never got to go home.
Right. And may I just say right off the rip,
Mhm.
I think I love you because I'm about to get up on a table in a college cafeteria like the fat kid from Stand By Me and sing this to you because this is my favorite in the franchise as well. Child's Play 3, hands down, bar none, easily my favorite.
I don't know why it gets so much hate. I'm like, y'all didn't want to check up on Andy when he got older to see he was tortured his whole life, and that's when we realized that Chucky could, like, if he wanted to take a new victim, he could. Like, Chucky had that realization, his own stuff. He's like, oh, wait a minute,
He
I
said,
go to you. I got another person, right? You know what? I ain't even worried about Andy right now. What's your name?
he said, Chucky's gonna be a bro.
Bro. Me, I again, apparently I have an offbeat sense of humor, but I love that whole thing. That Chucky, again, he had a whole lot of one-liners in that as well. Is it?
Don't fuck with the Chuck.
Where are you, you little shit?
Chucky's gonna be a bro.
Presto! You're dead.
And that's the one that he jumped. I think he popped out, and the guy died just off seeing Chucky alone by just having a heart attack. So
He's sitting there with the Bowie knife and he's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I love it.
I don't care. I like Child's Play 3. I'm like, y'all can hate on most of the movies that I like. Apparently, nobody agrees with me on my horror picks, but I love these movies.
Very few people like Child's Play 3, and it's so funny because I've been vocal about that since I started the channel. Like, that's one of the movies that got me into horror. It's still a comfort movie for me to this day. And like, Child's Play is my favorite franchise. Child's Play 3 was the first one I watched in this franchise. That was what got me started into Child's Play, was Child's Play 3. Like, I remember we watched this, and then me and my cousins were like, whoa. Like, we saw it on, like, HBO, and we went to my aunt and uncle, and we were like, we got to go rent these movies. Like, let's go down to my aunt and uncle took me to my video store, because my parents, I don't know if you know, but my parents owned a video store when I was a kid. And
oh, wow.
we got Child's Play 1 and 2. We went home and watched those two that night. And then, like, we didn't caught 3 on HBO. We just caught it. And it blew my mind how much I loved these movies right off the rip. And that started with Child's Play 3. And again, I agree. I think it's the best in the franchise. But when we're talking about Child's Play, that was your first horror movie, your first introduction to, you know, our little Chuckster. Which kill from the first one would you say is your favorite? Because we all love the kills. Which kill would you say was the ones that stuck with you the most?
From the franchise?
No, from the first film.
From the first film. It had to be him killing the babysitter. Like that's how we got started. Cause I mean, how you explain that? It's Andy. It's your birthday. You get a good guy doll. Your mom got to work, and she come home, and the babysitter's dead. But they got little bitty footprints around the house. Like how do you even? And he's like, it's Chucky, and like he did it. He like she was getting on his nerves, and like that's all it took. I'm like, how you explain that to somebody?
You have that moment right after where he's like,
he said that Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved.
So I've had an amazing time talking about Child's Play, talking about Child's Play 3. But I always ask this question because we know how horror started for you. But now my little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite scary movie, Kay? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
Now you know. Favorite horror movie of all time. And it's so funny because I found out this movie was released on a November 1st. Which is so go ahead and put November 1st down on your calendar, because that's going to be the day that we have a day to celebrate the people under the stairs. It's going to be November 1st, my birthday, release day anniversary for people under the stairs. I don't know why. I can't even explain to you why this is my favorite movie in horror. It's just so much within the movie where you have the couple, but that's really brother and sister, and then you have Fool and his interactions with what is it with Alice, and what he's trying to do with to help his own family, and then you get the boys that are under the stairs, and I'm like, it was just so much in that one movie that it's just like you can't look away.
Right.
While you're watching it, and everybody was like on their, and then it has those elements of the comedy with it as well, because that
Gonna kill you!
mommy, daddy, elements,
Yeah.
get her.
And then
They're just hilarious also in that movie, but also very creepy when you see those kids downstairs. It's just like, I don't think you're trying to go down there and be trapped in that house. I absolutely love that movie.
I just want it known that somewhere in the United States right now, Tyra's like, oh my God, she's fucking talking about this movie again.
She is. Oh, and I already told him. I was just like, well, y'all gonna be a part of the People Under the Stairs party on November 1st. So
oh, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there. So you guys set your calendars, because we are gonna be there, and we are so excited.
Put it on the calendar.
Now we talk in the People Under the Stairs. Everybody, Ashley's favorite movie too. It is a movie that is just so deep with all its, all the subtext that comes with this movie, all the social issues, whether it be the gentrification of neighborhoods, the rich stepping on the the wealthy stepping on the poor to get what they want, like all of that. And Wes Craven was just like, on top of that, I'm gonna scare the piss out of you. So like there's so many things from this movie as a kid that just stuck with me as well, and it really is a fantastic movie. And we all know Jordan Peele is producing a remake of it. I'm just, to me, and Ashley agrees with this too, it's going to come down to casting. That's what this whole thing is going to come down to. You have to be able to nail. Everybody did so well in their roles.
Yes, they did.
That, like you said, Daddy is terrifying, but even he's scared of Mommy. Like when she starts to get her attitude, he's like, nope, I'm good. You win. Whatever you say. So very, very well made movie, and a very underappreciated Wes Craven film. Whenever we talk about Wes Craven, you hear about The Hills Have Eyes, you hear about Scream, you hear about Nightmare on Elm Street, which is all well deserved. But People Under the Stairs just has that element of fear mixed with the perfect amount of the social issues, to where it's not beating you over the head with it, but you understand that he knows what time it is. And for Wes Craven, a
Mhm.
white writer, to come out and be like, hey, this is what we're going to do, that was a huge swing for him.
It was, and I didn't even appreciate. I feel like me watching it back then, I didn't appreciate as much as I do now because I didn't even understand what gentrification was back
Right.
then. I just knew this family was like poor and at they wits end, and Bing Rames was like, "You better y'all about to get evicted if you don't come and help me rob these people." I understood he was just trying to get some money for his family, but I didn't understand like no, they were just like, "I'm wiping out this whole neighborhood."
Yeah,
And
we're trying to get the blacks out of our white neighborhood, so we can build more duplexes and more skyscrapers for the wealthy, so we can get more money. And like I said, as kids, we didn't understand
then
that.
yeah, I was more worried about food trying to coming out of that house.
Because the way that we all looked at it was, his mama's sick.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to help mama? And all of us in that
Mm-hmm.
situation. And then when you get in there and you find out that they're the ones that own that liquor store, when you have that revelation, and you're just like, no fucking way. These are bad people.
Mm-hmm.
They really, truly, because up until that moment, you're like, are they really bad though? Because these people are kind of breaking into their house. But then once because at this point you haven't seen the kids yet.
Exactly. And then the story, it keeps unfolding and unfolding because then we realize that Alice can't get out of the house. And then we see roaches in the walls.
Mhm.
And then we find out that Alice is not even that's not even their daughter. And then we
Right.
find out that they're not even married, and that they
Right.
found out these are all the boys under there, people that they kidnapped. Like the story just kept getting worse and worse and worse the longer he stayed in that house.
As you're pulling back the layers, you're like, what the? Even as kids, you're like, give me a minute to breathe, Wes. Like, damn, holy shit. So, and like I said, guys, November 1st, we are going to be on the fifth wall, and we are so excited to join Kay to talk about a film that means so much to all of us. So make sure that you guys are there, and you should already know that because now you're subscribed to her channel because the links are in the description. So, before I let you go, we always bounce back to the same question, Kay. We're going to go back to Child's Play, and what we're going to do is rank this movie on a skull count. Now, we're not ranking it on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. We're not being critics. All we're doing is ranking this movie on how much it affected you on your first viewing. So 0 skulls being not effective, 5 being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. Okay, what would your ranking of Child's Play be? I almost said the people under the stairs. What would your ranking of Child's Play be?
Before I get to it's so funny because my rating system is a skull too. It's yes. And I use a 0 to 5 skull ranking system as well. That is hilarious.
Great minds, baby. Great minds.
Right. I had somebody draw up, our artist draw up a skull for us to use as a ranking system as well. So that is hilarious. But Child's Play, for this to be so impactful, and little did I know that one movie had sent me on a lifelong journey of being a horror fan for Chucky. I don't care what. Don Mancini had this one idea, and he done held me my whole life to this one idea.
Yeah.
And that is commendable. He done put a whole horror icon out there. You can't go anywhere without noticing the power of Charles Lee Ray in his presence. And so that is a 5 right there. That is a 5. You got me in a Don Mancini. You got me in a chokehold. Just one movie, and one movie was good enough for me to say I'm gonna follow you wherever you go.
Yes, yes. And what I love about this, first off, and I didn't say it earlier, but Mama K, Sister K, thank you, because without you, I wouldn't be here today. Without you torturing her with these horror movies at a young age, but when the Child's Play remake came out, which I hindsight's 2020, I really do like the remake a lot. The only thing I would change about that movie is I would have named it Buddy from the world of Child's Play. And I think that would have went over better because Child's Play, like, I didn't even go see this movie in the cinema. I was like, no, fuck that. I'm a Don Mancini guy. Like, they're fucking Don Mancini over. I'm not doing that. If they would have named it Buddy from the world of Child's Play, the next movie could have been Buddy Bear. We could have got that Buddy Bear movie, which I think would have been so dope. And they could have respected Don's wishes of not using Chucky. You didn't have to do it. I love the fact they didn't do the incantation. I love they didn't have Charles Lee Ray because that already exists and it's perfect. You can't redo that. The doll looked fucking stupid, but if you were to rename the characters, you didn't have to have Andy and Karen. They could have been named different. The doll could have just been named the Buddy doll, and it could have been Buddy from the world of Child's Play, and everything would have been great because nothing else.
Because the kills he did was fine. You know,
The kills were
I wasn't even
great.
mad at. I wasn't even mad at it. He took out some people that probably deserved it. So I wasn't even mad at it.
Nothing from this movie ties into the original except for the names. None of the kills are the same. None of the plot is really the same. I mean, a little bit, obviously, you know, you have a kid that gets a doll, but they made it so unique to itself in 2019. They did themselves a huge disservice by naming it Child's Play. That was the biggest problem they had.
Yeah, that's what I
whoever
felt.
on that marketing team should have been like, hey, we don't even own the rights to the name Child's Play 2. So if this is successful, we can't do a sequel, dumbasses. Like, God. So again, sorry for the rant, guys. You guys know I feel that way, but
I actually agree with you. That's pretty much my whole thoughts about that one too.
Yeah, and like I said, Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, the Joker, he did a great job as the Chucky voice. I thought he was great. But again, you killed it by naming the doll Chucky and naming the movie Child's Play.
Mm-hmm.
A little tweak, this movie could have been 10 times more successful, in my humble opinion. But again, hindsight's 2020. Now I do appreciate you coming on and spending some time with me, Kay. You know that I love your company and I get the chance to hang out with you. That means a lot to me. So please don't go anywhere. I have a couple more questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else, we are at the end of the third act. The credits are about to roll and the curtain's about to drop.
Yes,
but before that happens, make sure, like I said, you're subscribing to the channel. Make sure that you are following Kay on social media to stay up to date on all the amazing things she has for you. She does an amazing job over at the channel. And she does a lot of collabs with a lot of amazing people as well. So you're going to want to be a part of that. So if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.